Hello, I'm your host for today's show, Lieutenant Chris Taylor from the LaGrange Fire Department. We're on site here at the West Point Lake with my friend, Smokey the Bear. We have a great show lined up for you today. We have two guests that will be here from the Georgia Forestry Commission as well as the LaGrange Fire Department. So sit back and relax because you're about to watch Smoke Signals. Welcome back. Today we have with us Ray Brundage with the Georgia Forestry Commission. Hello, Ray, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Chris. Glad to be here.
It's an honor to have you here today, and we want to, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be on the show. And one other thing I want to do is I want to thank you for being a part of our 10-year anniversary on Smoke Signals back in December of 2016. So we really do appreciate, all the support that you've given LaGrange Fire Department and Smoke Signals over the past 11 years.
Oh, yes. It was a great honor to be there, and we've been quite busy here in the last few months in the Georgia Forestry Commission in the state of Georgia.
I can imagine. Well, if you would, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been with the Georgia Forestry Commission.
My name is Ray Brundage. I'm with the Georgia Forestry Commission Herd Troop Unit. I am a wildland firefighter, and I've been working at the Herd Troop Unit for 15 years now.
Okay, all right, and like you said, it's never a dull moment there at the forestry, right?
Never a dull moment. Smokey the Bear, wildfires, burn permits, and all kind of things going on there all the time.
Definitely. So if you would, just kind of tell us a little bit about the services that the Georgia Forestry Commission provide in our area.
The Georgia Forestry Commission provides lots of services. The best way to get to know all the services, go to www.gatrees.org, and it will tell you the majority of our services, our prices. But we have a fire prevention section and we have a forest health section or forest management section, and both sections do a lot of things for the community. We provide weather, we do pre-suppression fire breaks, we actually do harrow food plots for hunters, but it does come at a small price. We have foresters assigned to this area that will come to your property and do assessments, and that's pretty much your tax dollars paying for that. And they can tell you what's going on with your timber and what's going on with your trees, if you have any type of fungus or infestation, and probably tell you how to grow more trees and give you a stewardship program. It's worth the time to have them come out. And like I said, we provide controlled burn services. We do fire breaks, and we also do heroin. That's just a small part of what we do in the Georgia Forestry Commission. Okay, all right. Now you mentioned about cost a moment ago. What are the costs for these services, or do they vary? The costs do vary. If you want a pre-suppression fire break to do a controlled burn, it's something like a $60 transportation fee, and operate the tractor and have an operator out there. The whole bulldozer comes out there. It's about $75 an hour, and they usually get around about 10 acres in an hour. Okay. And it's a real good service. It's worth the money. And a lot of people do it. You have to get on a waiting list, and we'll tell you where you're at on the list, and it's a pretty good service. We also do heroin. That has a list also. Okay. That's like $95 an hour. Okay. And we'll go out there and till up your soil on a couple of acres, and you can put your fertilizer and your favorite type of grass or grains out there, and let Bambi or the turkeys come out there and get you a wall hanger or a good beard to put on your wall. Sounds good. All right, now here it's the month of May, and the month of May brings about a lot of changes as it relates to the Georgia Forestry in the state of Georgia, and we're talking about the burn ban. The burn ban is now amongst us. So actually talk about the burn ban and when does it go in effect? The burn ban is put out by the DNR, Department of Natural Resources, EPD section, Environmental Protection Division, and we support them greatly on that, and it goes on the 1st of May to the last month of October, 30 October, and actually you can start burning again, or September, excuse me, the last day of September, and you can start burning on the 1st of October. So the burn ban goes in effect from the 1st of May to the 1st of October.
Okay. Now, why do they have burn bans in certain areas?
All right, it's an air quality issue. And everybody knows in the summertime when Mother Nature changes her winds, we don't have that much wind in the state of Georgia because of the Appalachian Mountains and topography and everything. The wind kind of stops and it becomes stagnated. So when you get in an area that has over 65,000, and since LaGrange, Georgia has grown up a bit, they now have their very own burn ban.
Okay.
So we practice what's called smoke management. So we don't want the smoke going up into the atmosphere and stagnate and degrade the air quality.
Okay. Now that's a very, very good reason.
Mother Nature just in the summertime doesn't push that wind around. If you can't have that wind, that smoke's going to stay in that area. And we have people with asthma and other things, and we just don't want. And sometimes it becomes a safety issue too.
Right.
With traffic.
And not to mention our southern humidity that we have as well.
Yes. That's one of the major factors is the humidity is always really high during the months of May to October.
Okay. All right. Now, since we're talking about burn bans, and what you're not supposed to do, let's talk about, what you can do during a burn ban. Can campfires or anything campfires or anything else burning, can that be done during the burn ban?
Yes, it can, and that's a yes or no answer.
Okay.
In the state of Georgia, we don't want to ruin your camping fun, so you can still have a campfire. You can have a campfire, cooking fire, or a warming fire, which in the state of Georgia during May and October, you're not going to warm yourself too much.
Right.
But the fire has to be less than 6 foot by 6 foot. So you put out make a little square that's 6 foot by 6 foot, and you put your campfire in there. You can have a campfire at your campsite or behind your house, out in the county, or if you have one of those little metal cauldrons, that's less than 6 foot by 6 foot, you can have a campfire in that also.
Okay.
But there's special rules to the campfire, so.
Right. Now, if someone does have a campfire, how can they have one safely?
Okay, if you're going to have just a campfire on the ground, there's numerous things you can do. The basic thing you want to do is clear out an area, a burn area, where you're going to have the campfire itself all the way down to mineral soil. That's down to the dirt. You want to use dry and natural material. If you have something that has a lot of moisture in it, it's going to smoke, and we really don't want that.
Right.
Make sure you have some nice dry wood. And in the state of Georgia, it is a law. You cannot burn any type of lumber or any type of man-made material on your campfire. Once you have your fire lit, you got to stay with it. All right, just don't go wandering around, going to Walmart or whatever after you light your campfire. You got to stay with it.
Right.
And constantly don't leave it alone. You have to watch out for spotting, and the spotting is those little sparks that come out of your fire and it floats pretty good ways out in the woods. And if you're out in the woods at one of these campsites out there on West Point Lake, those little spots or ambers can go many, many yards and fall off into some pine straw, and the wind starts blowing up, and then you have another fire. So you got to watch out for what's called spotting when you have your campfire. All right, and also you could have flammable items around, canopies, tarps, or whatever. And you got to make sure those spots don't get on there and ignite also.
Okay.
It's a good idea to have some tools to have available for your campfire. Okay. Shovels, rakes, hoses, buckets of water are a good thing to have on standby in case one of those spots do go out. Don't panic, just go out there, put a little bit of water out on it, or maybe you can rake it out or shovel it out. And that's pretty much what you can do for having a good campfire.
Okay, sounds good. And I'm quite sure.
I'm sorry. And the last thing, when you leave, always put your campfire out.
Most definitely.
That is probably the most important thing, and that's probably the highest call volume I have is going out of people not putting out their campfire. You can throw dirt on it. You can drown it out with water, but before you leave, you should be able to put your bare hand on the coals of that campfire before you leave.
Sounds good. That's good information about those who will be out camping, during the summer months. Now, what has the Georgia Forestry Commission been doing in the recent recent months as well as in the past, and what are they going to be doing in the near future?
Oh, we've been very busy. If you know, last summer we had the drought, and we didn't have much rain, and it put a lot of stress on these trees. And trees are like people. When they don't get fed and they don't get watered, they get stressed. And you have things like bugs and fungus and things of that nature. It weakens the trees. Last fall we had a very, very high drought, and we had a lot of wildfires north of Atlanta. We had so many wildfires up there, we had to take it as an incident, and we had to station people from South Georgia and Middle Georgia, LaGrange, Georgia. Our folks in our office, we had to take turns rotating up there with equipment because the wildland firefighters, Georgia Forestry Commission, they were just getting wore out and tired. They were going 18, 20 hours a day putting out wildfires.
Right.
We also had numerous burn bans put in effect that weren't normally going on because of the dryness and the drought that the state had to institute. And it's really hard to get the word out. So when they put these on-the-spot burn bans in the areas, and most of them were probably Middle Georgia and North Georgia. And here recently, over the last few months, because of the dryness and the droughts finally reached down South Georgia, if you've been watching the news, the swamp has caught on fire again. The swamp, North Florida, and a lot of places in Florida are on fire. And we have people in the Georgia Forestry Commission that are stationed down there, or being stationed down there to respond to those wildfires. And the last thing, like I said, our foresters and the people in the Georgia Forestry, we've been helping landowners out and timber people with the different stresses. We had a lot of bug infestation and funguses and the weakness of trees, and the root system in trees are getting weak, and the trees are in a real situation right now. So
okay, all right. So a lot of great things that Georgia Forestry Commission has going on, and of course, you know, whenever you have, you know, those type of fires that just come up out of nowhere, you know, you have to, you know, do what you have to do and get the manpower you need to try to mitigate those situations as quickly as possible so that it doesn't cause any extensive damage.
Oh yes, we've had on these wildfires, it's just not Georgia Forestry Commission. We have LaGrange Fire is out there helping me, Troup County Fire, and when we were up north, we had numerous of local fire departments out there, boots on the ground, on the fire line with hand shovels and things like that, helping us out with those fires. It was a very mountainous area and very dangerous to run bulldozers up there, and we had to have hand crews, and most of those hand crews had to come on the spot, and they came out of local fire departments.
Okay, sounds good. Well, you provided us with a wealth of information, and we appreciate you giving all the updates and letting us know what we need to do about campfires as well as the burn ban. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more here on Smoke Signal.
Nobody wants to be stopped by a law enforcement officer.
Everyone wants to feel safe.
So we've trained our officers to first listen and then explain.
We ask if you have contact with one of our officers, you listen, give him an opportunity to explain, comply with his requests, and if there's a problem, contact us so that we can investigate your complaint.
Listen, explain, comply, then complain.
Our safety and yours matters.
Welcome back. Our next guest is Lieutenant Paramedic Dusty Helton with the LaGrange Fire Department. Hello, Dusty, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's an honor to have you here today, and it's been a while since we've done a show together.
Yes,
it's been several years.
I've missed some cooking shows, but I'm glad I'm back. I'm glad I'm
Good,
back.
good. Well, today, you know, we got some great information that we want to share with our viewing audience. But before we get into that, if you could, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been with the LaGrange Fire Department.
I've been with the LaGrange Fire Department now for 18 years. I've been in public safety now for 23 years. I first started out working for Troup County EMS as an EMT paramedic. So through the duration of time, so 23 years in public safety.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Now, we're going to be talking about summer-related topics. And our first topic, we want to talk about medical emergencies. What are some typical medical emergencies that we find during the summer months?
During the summer months, you're mostly going to have heat-related emergencies. The biggest thing about heat-related emergencies is the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke.
Okay.
Heat exhaustion is usually what you get when you're at home and you're working out in the yard, in and out of the house and stuff like that. The heat stroke really comes out to somebody that's been outside in the heat for excessive, 8 hours or stuff, and something like that in that nature.
Right.
And the heat exhaustion, it usually comes on with a little nausea and not feeling well, get a little weakness and stuff like that. Heat stroke usually starts, your blood pressure gets real high, and your skin gets real dry, and you get to where you get an altered level of consciousness and stuff. And in the past few years, CDC's done a study where 7,415 people have had medical emergencies where they've actually went to the emergency room and got checked out for them, and 618 of them in the last few years have died from heat-related emergencies. So
Wow.
it's out there, so it's something you really, really, really need to watch.
Right. Now, what are some other emergencies that we typically see other than heat emergencies?
What I come up with, I try to get stuff that's around here. We get into the bee stings. You have your yellow jackets, you have your wasps, and you have your hornets and stuff like that. And usually, most people that get stung with it usually just have the skin irritation and of course the pain that comes with it.
Right.
But if it gets real bad and you start getting real bad red blotchy skin, or you start having some difficulty breathing, it's good to go ahead and take some Benadryl.
Okay.
And usually should be in your first aid kit at home, or most people have it in their cabinet at home and stuff like that. If it gets real severe with a reaction, it's time to start looking for a doctor to get an EpiPen shot and some steroids to help you out. And if you do have that first allergic reaction that's real bad, is to go ahead and get your doctor to prescribe you an EpiPen. They're easy to use, and it's something good to keep at home.
Okay.
And some other bites that I come up with is ant bites. Usually ant bites are not that bad, but there's a certain percentage of people that are severely allergic to ant bites. And that same thing with bee stings, your Benadryl and your Epis, but they have to take allergy shots because ants are so common. You can be just walking through the yard and get an ant bite.
Right.
So that's something you have to watch too. Of course you got the mosquitoes and you got the chiggers, I guess what they call them, and that's mostly just a topical skin irritation and stuff like that. And there's different kind of remedies for that, for home remedies to do it. But usually you don't have anything bad for that. About the only thing when it comes to bugs is the ticks. This year, for some reason, I have someone I know real well that works at St. Francis ER, and they're having a lot of tick bites coming in that are getting real red and swelled.
Wow.
And when it comes to that, you got to make sure the head's out. And of course, you can Google it. So many people have so many different ways of getting that tick head out. Sometimes they'll hold an open flame to it and they'll let go, and some people use cold water and stuff like that. But you got to make sure you get the whole tick out, and then you get up to what the tick usually gets to, and the disease it causes, Lyme disease. And when something like that happens, you have to get on doxycycline for 2 weeks to a month period to try to get that out of your system. But that's more or less a later stages that you have to go to the doctor and get blood work about.
Okay.
But that's most of the things that's around here. And the only other thing is snake bites. You got your copperheads, you got your water moccasins and stuff like that. And many years ago, they used to teach us to put a restricting band, around the red part of the skin and stuff like that. Well, they're kind of getting out of that now.
Right.
They're saying now if you get bit, try not to walk. They don't want your heart rate getting raised up real high. And the other thing is try to keep your leg below your heart. So, sitting in position on the way to the hospital is good. Try not to lay down and leave your leg up and raised. But that's mostly the biggest things, and the sometimes it's the worst for people is poison oak and poison ivy. Of course you've got it everywhere out here, and a lot of people don't know, but I can actually have a reaction of poison oak or poison ivy on me, and some people are so highly allergic to it just by me touching their hands and stuff like that, they'll actually get it.
Wow.
So you really have to watch that sometimes, and if you do have somebody that's real allergic at the house that's with poison oak and poison ivy, make sure you wash the clothes and don't let them handle the clothes, because they actually can get it from the clothes, or also pets can give it to you.
Wow.
It's kind of one of those days. If that's only the highly allergic people.
Okay. All right. Good. It's good information about medical emergencies that can typically happen during this time of the year, and what precautions to take when someone becomes exposed. What are some safety precautions to take during extreme temperatures? We've seen just off the record temperatures here, especially
very
in our
bad.
winter month, the spring month, and now we're heading into the summer. Have no idea what the temperatures are going to be like, but I'm quite sure it's going to be hotter than what we've seen
Yes,
before.
very, very. The key thing is listen to your local weather. I mean, that's a good key there. If you know it's going to be a heat index of 110 to 115 degrees or over 100 degrees, you want to kind of limit what you're doing outdoors the next day.
Right.
The other things is take safety precautions at home. Have a plan. If you're going to go out and do something, you don't want to go out and do it at lunchtime, or 2 o'clock in the evening. Try to have everything planned so when you do it, you can do it in the morning time.
Right.
And the other thing is a key that I try to keep up with also is the elderly in your neighborhood. Also pets and stuff like that. Try to check on them. The elderly. Sometimes they don't want to run their air conditioning because of the electrical bills and stuff like that. And your pets also. You check on them because they're outside in this. If you have a dog outside, make sure they're in the shade and have plenty of water.
Definitely.
Be aware of I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Be aware to ensure that you're also your cats and stuff like that is what I meant to bring up.
Right.
And make sure they're okay too, because the cats, they run around, they're not on a leash, so sometimes you might have to bring them in the excessive heats too.
Okay. Now, one thing and we're talking about precautions during extreme heat, and we haven't talked about this topic, but I wanted to bring it up. Leaving children in vehicles and animals.
Yes.
Kind of touch on that, because I think that's very, very important. We've seen a lot of cases, across the country about, children being left in vehicles. Not so much animals, but they're a concern too, but children being left in vehicles, especially this time of year.
Yeah. We were all kids once, and our parents tried to do the just running in the store deal, with the windows down and, trying to come out real quick. And, even in that event, you still get hot for that, 2 or 3, 5 minutes that you're sitting in that car with the windows down.
Yeah.
But especially, people get in such a hurry these days, and forget their keys in the car, and their child that gets in the car. And you got to think, they've put meters inside these cars when the heat index has been so high, and it get to 160, 170 degrees inside of a car. So that's very bad for a child.
Right.
And the other thing is the pets is just because you crack that window just a little bit, thinking they're not going to get out, but you got to think that about the air getting in.
Yes.
The pets will get real hot in there. When you see them starting panting, that means that they're hot.
Right.
So keeping pets in the car is also something you really have to watch out with.
Okay. All right. What are some water safety tips for kids and adults during the summer?
Water safety. A lot of good information is all over the internet. A lot of stuff I've seen is that Red Cross has a lot of stuff. Most of the information that I kind of looked through today was from the Red Cross website,
which is a great resource.
Great resource, and the health facts that I got was coming from Healthline and stuff like that, which is they have all the water safety and all kind of safety procedures that's in there too. But a good thing for water safety for kids and adults is know your area that you're swimming in. If it like West Point Lake, we all know it may look shallow 2 feet in, but after that 2 feet, it might drop off.
Right.
So you really have to know the areas that you're swimming in, and it's good to have lifeguards wherever you swim at. So try to get to a beach area. If you're in Florida or some place like that, make sure try to have a lifeguard around. That's always a good one.
Okay.
Always have a buddy when you swim. Try not just go swimming by yourself, or when you're at a campsite or something like that. Everybody's at the campsite. Go in, make sure somebody's there with you that's keeping an eye on you.
Right.
Never leave children unattended. That's a big thing.
Exactly.
Always keep an eye on them, especially out here at the lake. 1 second, they may be gone. Life jackets are big. If you don't know how to swim, that's a big thing is wearing a life jacket. Anywhere, anytime, you can have a muscle cramp, and that could obviously drowned you at some point. So a life jacket's real good. Some other points is be cautious of, you know, a lot of natural body waters and stuff like that, especially come in the ocean, because we all go out to the beach and stuff like that. Make sure you look at your flag, see what color flag you have today. If you got a double yellow or yellow flag or a red flag or stuff like that, that undertow will really get you. So, you know, you really have to watch out for that.
Okay.
Always boat with when you're boating, make sure you have that life jacket on. You know, at any minute, you know, I've been out here in West Point Lake before in storms, and when you hit a wave, you know, sometimes it could capsize a boat easy.
Right.
So make sure you wear your life jackets when you're boating.
Okay.
The other biggest thing that we find out with most of the boat wrecks out here in West Point Lake and other places, alcohol is in a big use too.
Yes.
So, you know, try not to be drinking any alcohol when you're boating or when you're swimming.
Okay. Good information. We appreciate those tips. Now, where are some websites where our viewing audience can get information about summer medical emergencies and water safety?
WebMD is always good. You know, that's one of the primary sites that a lot of people go to. Healthline is another one. You know, you can always Google. It's just www.webmd.com or healthline.com. First aid stuff, Red Cross, they have a lot of first aid stuff on there. So that would be more of a thing you would look for your minor stuff at home.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we appreciate you sharing that wealth of information with us on medical emergencies as well as water safety. We'll take another quick break and we'll be right back here on Smoke Signals. Welcome back. We'd like to take this time to thank our guests for being on the show. Ray Brundage with the Georgia Forestry Commission and Lieutenant Paramedic Dusty Helton with the LaGrange Fire Department. We hope the information that they shared with you today has been beneficial. And as always, we'd like to thank our viewing audience for watching another segment of Smoke Signals. Until next time, take care.